Morning. Gosh, we lost a couple of greats over last night and this morning. Meatloaf has passed away. Legendary singer. Tori and I were just talking about it, and woke up this morning and very sad to hear that Meatloaf passed, and then just found out we just learned a few minutes ago that comedian Louis Anderson has passed away as well. Apparently
No, not Louis
he'd
Anderson.
still been working, Patty. He's been on that Byron Allen show almost on the daily. He's
Wow.
but been treated for cancer, and yeah, we lost a couple of greats over the evening. So yeah, very sad. But all right, let me get back up here in the stool and let's get this started. Good morning, Santa Clarita. Welcome in. Sorry to start your day with some tragic news. Very sad indeed, but we're moving on, and we're going to have a great show. You are listening to KHTS. There's the post. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVI and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley, and I am your host, Matt Watson. You know, our show Eye on the Valley is brought to you, like I said, by SCVI and I Lead Schools. We are a network of charter schools with campuses in Castaic, Agua Dulce, Lancaster. We've got a fully accredited online school. That's right, kindergarten through 12th grade. If you think, my first grader could never do school online, you're wrong. We've got some amazing facilitators that guide them through their experience, and they've got classmates that they play with, and so yeah, you can check that out at ileadonline.org. We've also got a burgeoning homeschool program. It's called iLead Exploration. You can learn more about them at ileadexploration.org. You know what? Why not just go to our main page, ileadschools.org. You can learn about our homeschool program, our online program, our several different classroom-based charters, where your kids go to school 8:30 to 3 every day. We've got just about everything that a child could need to learn and grow, regardless of their learning style. So, we keep our eye on education here in Santa Clarita and across the nation, but like the show says, we also keep our eye on the Valley as well, bringing you everything that you need to know about what is what here in the Valley. And we do it all while having a little bit of fun. It's going to take me a while to get there today, Patty, but like I said, it's fun is what I'm all about, and I try to keep it. I try to keep it appropriate, so we're not gonna joke about our two legends that we lost, but maybe by the end of the show, hopefully by the end of the show, when Big T joins us, we'll make with the yucks, because laughter is just what I live for.
The best medicine, Matt.
Definitely, definitely. So Big T will help us all get through this day. So stick around. If you haven't listened to Big T's segment, you're in for a treat. Welcome back on this beautiful Friday. It is a great day here in the Valley. It's a little cool out there, but beautiful. The wind's going to kick up a little bit later on today. Going to be a windy weekend. But today is a great day for you naturalists out there, all you nature lovers. Today is National Granola Bar Day. It is also National Hugging Day. Did you know that? It's National Hugging Day. That's right. Careful. Only those folks in your home, your immediate family, your bubble there. Don't go passing out too many Corona hugs. But today is also National Squirrel Appreciation Day. Patty, do you appreciate squirrels?
I appreciate squirrels.
All right, rock on. So, like I said, if you're a naturalist, go ahead and put on your hiking boots, grab a granola bar, and get out there. Hug a squirrel, hug a tree, hug a friend, hug your dog, and enjoy the day. But before you go, make sure you download the KHTS app on your phone so that you can take us along with you on that hike. That's right. You can catch our show on the KHTS app, on Facebook Live, on the KHTS Facebook page, and at home on or at the hometownstation.com website if you're on your laptop, or you can dial us in on the radio. Like I said, 98.1 FM or 1220 AM. Got lots of ways of listening to us, so you've got no excuse if you're going on a hike or having your 8 a.m. coffee like my mom. That's no excuse, Mom. You need to be dialing in. Come on. We've got a great show for you today. In just a minute or so, we're going to be talking with Megan Miller from iLead Exploration. As I mentioned, iLead Exploration is our homeschool program, and Megan is the curriculum librarian there. What's a curriculum librarian, you ask? Well, it's just one of the many services that we provide to our homeschool families. We'll get the specifics from Megan in just a moment. And in the second hour today, we'll reconnect with our friends from Ascend Healthcare. The managing director, Effie Goldberg, will be joining us in the studio. They do such amazing work with teens that that are struggling with different things in their lives, and I always enjoy chatting with Effie. And yes, like I said, we'll be playing trivia to wrap the show and goofing off with my big brother, Big T. We had lots of fun last week. Big T called me last night. He's excited about the questions he's got locked and loaded for us today, so that'll be fun. Yeah. So it's going to be a great show. Let's go ahead and get started. My first guest, as I mentioned, is the curriculum librarian for iLead Exploration, our homeschool program at iLead Schools. Megan Miller herself has been homeschooling her own 4 children since 2015 and has been with the iLead family since 2017. Megan fell in love with curriculum, and when she began homeschooling her own children, so much so that she's now currently attending college to become an English teacher, and I have it on good authority that English teachers are some of the greatest people in the world. Megan, welcome to Eye on the Valley.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
I'm glad to have you. So I love that story that that you became a homeschool mom, and then you decided to join our homeschool program and work with us at iLead, and loved it so much that you're working to become an English teacher. That is a beautiful story.
It's been such a fun journey.
Oh, well, tell me about how the journey started. How did you and your family get into homeschool in the first place?
Yeah, it started with my older daughter, Mary. She was in middle school and just having a really hard time, and traditional school just wasn't for her. So she asked me to homeschool her, and we were like, okay, we'll just take this jump with you. And it was a little stressful because she was in middle school, and that's a hard age to parent anyway, but to be home 24/7 with each other, we had to work on our relationship a lot. Mm-hmm. And all the other kids just kind of were like, I want to be homeschooled too, and we just kind of all fell into it, and they all just found a reason to be home.
How beautiful is that? I mean, gosh, I could go down so many different paths. First of all, I love that you realized when your child was in middle school that there is an option, right? That's one of those things it's still really slow to shift in parents' minds, because as a nation, we kind of think that our educational options are the public school down on the corner or private school if you've got money for it, but folks don't realize the myriad of options that are available to them free of charge, like a charter school or things like that, homeschool, online. So absolutely beautiful, and I love that you've been able to connect with your kids on a new level that way. That is amazing. So now you work for iLead Exploration as the curriculum librarian. Tell us a little bit about that. What's your role? What is the curriculum library, and then what do you do as the librarian?
So the curriculum library is the warehouse, essentially, of all the curriculum that iLead has purchased for families that they're done with and they've turned in, and now it's all available for new families to check out and try and see what works for them.
So, so maybe you can help explain a little bit by talking about how families access their curriculum, what it is that families do to get their curriculum, because it's not just enrolling in our homeschool program and then you're on your own to teach English, math, science, history, etc. And then the supplemental role that the library plays that way.
Right. I think like a lot of families think like, oh, I couldn't homeschool because I don't know how to educate my kids. I don't know what's out there. And that's not how it is with iLead Exploration. You are given a facilitator to help you with curriculum. The library is available to help you pick out curriculum. And you can go from full regimented school day, everyday curriculum to not so regimented and like maybe we'll just go on a field trip today curriculum, and everything in between. So the library is a really good place for families to look at curriculum and see what would work for them and what fits in their schedules and what fits in their lifestyle.
So I know our homeschool families have like a budget, right? They have, I guess that's it, a budget to purchase curriculum with. Is the library a place where they would just kind of test things out before they decide they want to purchase it? Or do they check stuff out from you, use that for a semester or a year, and then bring it back? Is it a bit of both?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. Like whatever works for that family. I like to tell parents, like, you're in charge of educating your kids. Like, you can use it however you want. I know that I've seen curriculum that I've heard about but have not been willing to spend funding on, and have been able to check it out and see if, like, oh, this does work or this doesn't work. So, yeah, either way, families can come in and use it however they see fit.
Oh, I love that because, yeah, like for example, there's some math curriculum out there that gets expensive, and if my kid's struggling in math and I can't find the right fit, I've heard good things about this program, but if I purchase this, then I have less money to, get the science program that I wanted. So I'm not sure. Oh, that's a great kind of test drive, right? And
Yes.
interesting. Okay, so I know that exploration has grown really quickly. Our homeschool network started with a few hundred kids, and now I heard yesterday we've got over 3,600 homeschoolers in iLead Exploration. Have you always had has there always been a librarian, or is this something new for our curriculum library?
This is totally new. There's two curriculum libraries. So there's one in Orange County at the studio, and then now there's one in Acton, which is kind of centrally based for like the Kern, LA County families, and like Santa Clarita and Lancaster. But yeah, this is the first time that there's been a dedicated curriculum library, and it's been really important to have that because before it was just kind of like a side project for the EFs who are so busy and working so hard. And, the library was just not a priority. And now it's being prioritized by me, and it's getting organized. So it's been so good to have this position. As a family, I'm so excited to have a library that's like pretty close to my house, and I can check out things and bring them back and use it just like a library, but it's like curriculum where you couldn't get from a regular library.
Yeah, and that's one of the beautiful things about growth, right? It opens up greater levels of potential of services and things like that. You mentioned EFs, and this is something I was curious about yourself. So you're a homeschool mom with iLead Exploration. You work, you run the curriculum library with our school. Are you also an EF, or is the curriculum library job a full-time job?
Yeah, I'm not an EF.
Okay.
An EF is a credential. It stands for Educational Facilitator, and it's a credentialed teacher. And I know that that's a lot of worry with families considering homeschools. Like, I'm just going to be out in the void trying to figure this out. But with iLead Exploration, you have a credentialed teacher that is your teacher, and she helps you and guides you, or he, sorry, for either way. And you have the same educational facilitator through your entire iLead journey for the most part, unless, they move but we've had the same educational facilitator since we started in 2017. Two of my kids have graduated from iLead with the same facilitator as my kindergartner had.
Oh.
She's just a member of our family now. And I couldn't do homeschooling without her guidance. And my kindergartner had trouble reading, and she helped me get like the appropriate like diagnosis and looking into like dyslexia and like all kinds of resources for her, things I wouldn't have ever known about.
Yeah.
So having an EF is like so awesome for people considering homeschooling. You don't have to do this like alone. You're not out there just trying to figure everything out.
You're right. When I mention that we have such a large homeschool program to my friends, that's typically the first response. Oh gosh, how do people do that? I could never. And that's not true. I've seen just about every family that comes into our program just marvel at the level of support. People come in a little bit nervous. I've met families that have come into our program after the pandemic. My child and I are still a little bit worried about sending them back on campus. Or my kid really thrived in distance learning, but now that's not an option. So we're looking into homeschool, but and then those families just flourish because of the support that the EF gives. And I love kind of the ebb and flow that the EFs are trained to lean in as much as possible or lean out, right? When you've got an expert family that's been doing this for 10 years and they've got this, then the EF is just there to walk alongside them and like you said, just guide whenever they need it. So, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, yeah, absolutely. That's been the thing. I know this pandemic has just been so awful for the whole globe, but if there could be a silver lining, it's that families who are considering homeschooling spent a year home and had these like beautiful moments together where they really thrived as a family and were able to change their course. And maybe someone works from home now, or they've worked out childcare, and they can stay home with their kids and just have these like moments that are just so beautiful. And that's been my absolute favorite thing about iLead Exploration is the relationship that my family has developed since we've been able to have that support.
Yeah, that's another one of those homeschool myths, right? That you're going to be isolated. And no, you develop a tremendous amount of relationships, and there's activities going on outside the home and in the community that different families link up for. It's a really cool program. So, Megan, we mentioned you run the curriculum library, and we talked about that's a place there where families can come and check out curriculum to use for an entire year or just test drive to see if they want to use their stipend to purchase that for their kids. So what's the most popular item that parents request from your library?
I would say that it would be probably the math manipulatives. We have so many great math manipulatives. I know, math is a thing that I didn't love as a kid, and I didn't love teaching it. But there are so many fun games that teach math. There's, pizza fraction fun, and then the allowance game, and all kinds of really fun games. So those go pretty quickly, but they're always coming in. There's plenty for everyone. Legos are another one that goes really quickly. I know they can be really expensive. So when Legos come in, they get checked out really quickly because they're just so fun and they're so hands-on. And I think that's something that maybe traditional schools are missing is that hands-on play where you're also learning.
Well, one of the things that was a struggle, I was a classroom teacher for over 15 years. Those things aren't cheap. And
No.
I always used to freak out when we would lose or damage some of our manipulatives and the hands-on tools. And so for a homeschool family to be buying those things can get really expensive and take from their stipend. So to be able to check it out, that's amazing. So it's not just like a library full of books. It's not just a wall with a bunch of textbooks on it. So you've got math manipulatives, you mentioned Legos. What other items does the iLead Exploration Library have?
Well, we do have tons of books. So any book that you're looking for, we had a parent come in last week who said, my daughter's liked these books, and we were able to pick out some really good books that I think her daughter will really like. So there's tons of books. There's tons of picture books. We have all the science equipment you could need from kindergarten to high school.
Oh, cool.
We have full chemistry sets, with Bunsen burners and everything. So all kinds of stuff there to help you with your homeschooling. And even if you don't find a full kit, it just takes off dollar, and you can use more funding and stretch your funding out further.
What an amazing support for homeschool families here. And you mentioned we've got our curriculum library in Acton, also down in Orange County for our families that live a little bit further south. We're talking to curriculum librarian for iLead Exploration, Megan Miller. And when we get back, we've got to take a quick break, but when we get back, we'll get more into specifics, including her plans to expand in the near future. So stick around. I'm Matt Watson. This is SCVI and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. And you're listening to your hometown station, KHTS.
I started using professional copy service probably 8-9 years ago.
Choosing the right copy service was a top priority for Ron Korn, president of Newhall Escrow.
He has supplied me with all of our copy machines, material for them, supplies for them, service for the machines.
Ron's lucky he called Sean Milligan, owner of Professional Copy Service.
Their service is great. Anytime I need Sean, he is there at our beckoning call. His service is great. We couldn't do without him.
Whether you have a small business or a large company, Professional Copy Service can handle it all.
We copy most everything that we produce in the office, and we use a ton of it.
Professional Copy Service, 299-5756. 299-5756. The only authorized Canon dealer for sales and service in Santa Clarita for Santa Clarita Professional Copy Service.
They're here. They're here for us. Our business is here, and we want to keep our business and give business to the local people.
Call Sean Milligan at Professional Copy Service, 299-5756.
The ugly truth about vertigo, and it's not a tumor. Discover the 3 most common mistakes that must change to stop vertigo for good. Hi, I'm Dr. Thomas Pilecki, and WebMD chooses me as best chiropractor and functional medicine in Santa Clarita. Something to think about. So, when you're ready to get better, go to drpilecki.com. That's drpolucki.com to schedule your free consultation now.
Santa Clarita, bedbugs are taking over our city. They've invaded our homes, our businesses, and most importantly, our sleep. If you have suspicious bites that appear nightly, or have a bug that you need ID'd, your best option is to make one call to All Pro. We offer a 100% guarantee that your bedbug issues will be solved with heat in one treatment. No need to tent or spray your house with chemicals. Heat is all you need. Call 661-298-2200 or text me a bug picture to 661-645-0540. It's time to sleep tight again, STV.
February's Senior Free Month at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. Visitors 65 and older receive free admission all month long. Whether you choose to get up close to your favorite wildlife, explore our unique habitats, relax with a drink and a view at Kimajami Overlook, or come along for an unforgettable safari adventure, there's something for everyone and countless memories to be made. With each and every visit, you make it possible to save wildlife worldwide. Guests must present their valid photo ID at any safari park ticket window to gain free admission, parking not included. San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance is an international nonprofit conservation organization that operates two world-class parks, the San Diego Zoo and the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, and empowers people to connect with plants and animals, develop an understanding of nature, and contribute to safeguarding wildlife everywhere by becoming wildlife allies. Visit sdzsafaripark.org and find out how seniors have free admission throughout February.
Healthcare can be difficult if you're underinsured or have Medi-Cal. Samuel Dixon Family Health Center can help. Services are available on a sliding fee schedule. The mission of the Samuel Dixon Family Health Center is to give the Santa Clarita Valley access to affordable, quality primary care. There are 3 locations to serve you: Canyon Country, Newhall, and Valverde. Go to sdfhc.org for more information and to find the location most convenient for you.
In these challenging times with virus attacking, I built my immune system with IV therapy at Hestia Medical Spa. I'm KHTS owner Jerry Sreddy Goldman. My husband Carl and I believe Hestia's Medical Spa IV therapy has been a powerful addition for strengthening our immune system. I've been using an IV combination of vitamins and minerals to help me fight off COVID and other viruses.
Boost your energy and immune system with IV therapy at Hestia Med Spa in Valencia. Details at hestiamedicalspa.com.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. I am Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVI and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. We're dealing with the tragic loss of both Meatloaf and legendary singer Meatloaf and legendary comedian Louis Anderson this morning. Sad morning for us this morning. However, I'm having a great morning because I'm joined by Megan Miller this morning. Megan is the curriculum librarian for iLead Exploration. That is iLead's homeschool program that serves families in Santa Clarita, Agua Dulce, Lancaster, the entire Antelope Valley, the San Fernando Valley, and the entire greater Los Angeles area, Orange County, San Bernardino County, Kern County. I feel like Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. You guys remember him? I mean, like, Cortell, I want to hear from you. Basically, if you're north of San Diego or south of Santa Barbara, we've got a spot for you in iLead's homeschool program. So we call it iLead Exploration, and Megan plays a unique role. As I mentioned, she is the curriculum librarian, and they've got tons of books, yes, textbooks, and all different kinds of curriculum for you homeschool families. But also, she talked about the games, the science labs, Bunsen burners, Legos. They've got all kinds of stuff in their library. So, Megan, tell me, what's the process? Because you mentioned you've got 2 curriculum libraries, one in Acton, up here in the North LA County area, and then one down in the Orange County area. So families do have to drive to you to get those items in most cases. So what's the process? How does a parent request an item from you and then come pick it up?
Well, they can use the hub to see what is in the current inventory. We try and update pictures, but everything that is in inventory is on the hub. They can look on it and send me an email, and I'll put it on hold for them for whenever they can get out there. I'm a homeschool family. I understand, like, I don't use time very much either. So whenever they can, it'll be waiting for them. But they can also come in during browsing hours, and both libraries have different hours. But they can come in and browse for, I think, 4 hours is our browsing hours. They can stay the whole time if they want, pick out everything they need. I've had parents come with wagons to fill up with stuff. Yeah, they can spend as much time as they want. Some parents come and say, I need this book, this book, this book, and then get it and leave. Or some parents just spend the whole browsing hours there. And either one works for me. But, yeah, they can come in and whenever works for them.
So fantastic, and I love that you keep your entire inventory on hold, and I'm assuming that when something, or not on hold, on the hub, which is, by the way, kind of an intranet for our homeschool families. It's a web page that our homeschool families have access to, and they can see what's available in the curriculum library. I love that you post that there, and I'm assuming like when something gets checked out, it automatically updates on the hub to where families know that that's no longer available for them?
Yep, it has it up to date as far as like in minutes. If it's checked out, it's gone. But yeah, if they want to put it on hold, absolutely. I put in a whole new barcode system, and so the second it gets checked out, it is updated on the hub. So no wondering if you're going to get it or not. If you send me an email, it's on hold for you immediately, and no worries.
Just like our county or city libraries. That is fantastic. Now, so that brings me to the question: when families come pick up, you know, a science kit or a textbook or what have you, how long are they allowed to keep those?
They're allowed to keep it as long as they're in the program. So, or when they're done, whatever works for them. If they check it out, realize it's not going to work for their family, and immediately return it, or they can just keep it as long as they're in the program when their child graduates, or wherever. Either way, again, homeschool families, I know that plans, every time I plan out what we're going to do for the day, something happens, and we don't end up doing that. So no rush, no return at the end of the year thing, nothing. You can hold it as long as you need it.
That is so cool. What an amazing service. And I've got a dirty little secret for you. That whole I planned it but I didn't get to it, and so maybe we'll do it some other day. That happens in the classroom with experienced teachers every single day across the country. So yeah, that's just par for the course in education. So we've talked about, and I was really surprised because, you know, when I hear about the curriculum library, like I said, I think about stacks of textbooks, which you have, but you've also got all these other different, any kind of educational item. I want to know, what's the most maybe unique or unusual thing that you guys have in the curriculum library? What's something that would really surprise me or your families when they come in?
Well, since I've been there, both libraries have had an egg incubator for incubating eggs and watching that process with either chickens or quails. And I see it every day, and I'm tempted every day, but I don't know what I would do with the chickens when they hatch. So maybe I'll have to talk to Amber and see if she'll let me house chickens. I don't think so, but I think it's so cool. And if you have, I know that there are families that have the space for chickens. So if they wanted to go through a whole chicken life cycle demonstration, we have books, we have manipulatives, and we have an egg incubator.
That is fantastic. And yeah, it is quite the undertaking, but you know, there are families that are definitely into that, and kids just absolutely love watching that whole process. It's a great way to teach them about the life sciences, and this is all stuff that's standards based. This is stuff our kids are supposed to be learning anyways. That is wonderful. Now, Megan, you are, and you have to be for your job, incredibly organized and structured, but I also understand that you're a bit ambitious. You've got some plans for the future of the curriculum library, right? You're planning on expanding a little bit. Can you tell us what your plans for the future are at the curriculum library at iLead Exploration?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously COVID has wet blanketed me the entire time I've been working, but I really want to have monthly events. I want to have vendor events where parents can come out and meet local vendors. Right now it's just word of mouth, or if you are searching for something and you happen to come across it. So I think vendor events would be really good for our vendors and our families.
Can I pause you right there? Can you explain to families that aren't in homeschool what a vendor is? Because when you say vendor, I think like churro truck and bracelets.
Yeah, no churro truck.
Okay.
suggestion for a vendor, but no. So families can use their funding with vendors. So we have vendors for books. We have vendors for curriculum.
Okay.
We have vendors for PE lessons like dance, karate, horseback riding, all kinds of vendors. We have tutoring, math vendors, reading vendors, like any kind of support that your child needs. You can find it in our vendor selection. So that's one of the reasons I'm so passionate about the library, because if you can save money, your funding on curriculum, and put them towards dance lessons because your daughter is really passionate about dance and is learning dance and is using that for her PE, I think that's a game changer, and that just brings so much equity to homeschooling, where families who might not be able to afford curriculum and dance don't have to choose. You know?
You're absolutely right, and I don't think we touch on this enough, that the homeschooling option is a way to bring educational equity to families that don't have necessarily the resources for all those extracurriculars. What you're saying is a homeschool family can actually use their educational funding for things like dance class, karate class as their PE option, as well as curriculum and things like that. And you want to host events to get families connected to all their different options. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think equity is like the biggest reason I love Exploration so much, and because back in before programs like Exploration, there was a certain family that could homeschool, and if you had two working parents and you were still struggling to pay the bills, homeschool wouldn't even be on the table for you.
Right.
But Exploration offers like thousands of dollars in funding for you to pay for curriculum, for you to pay for dance classes for your kids. And, you just have to work out the work schedule and the childcare schedule. But that just brings so much more like families to the program that couldn't have done it without it.
Absolutely. And I know my listeners are wondering how you're able to do that. How can you give so much money to each family? Well, these are monies that are being spent every day on school campuses for all the different resources and materials and PE classes and science labs and all the different things that our schools offer. But now it puts the control 100% in the parents' hands, and they are able to purchase the exact curriculum they want for their families and make all of the curricular decisions, including the budgetary decisions about what we purchase and how we spend the educational dollars that the state of California spends on my kid anyways. I think that is so beautiful. So how can our listeners learn more about what iLead Exploration has to offer and how they can enroll?
They can go to exploration.org or iLeadExploration.org and get more information that way. I know there's like a contact me form that will go to the right people to contact you. And it's such an easy process. It's just like registering for your local brick and mortar school. And yeah, super simple, and you're guided the whole way. You're not alone. There's so much support in Exploration that comes from whether it's the library or your educational facilitator or any of the other program specialists in Exploration. Like, you're not alone. You can do this. That's been my whole message.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like I said, the first thing families think of when they think of homeschool is, yeah, not for my family. We could never do this. Yes, you can. If this is something that you're interested in, you can do it because you've got the tremendous support of your EF, your educational facilitator, the credentialed teacher who is there to step in as much as you need or step back as much as you want. You've got the support of people like Megan Miller and the curriculum library where you've got access to all these different things. Yes, textbooks, but Legos, math manipulatives, egg incubators. You can hatch chickens as part of our homeschool program, and you don't even have to go out and buy the incubator. Megan will let you borrow it from the library as long as you need it. So you have as much support as a homeschool family as you need. And so, yes, you can do this. And to learn more, go check it out either at iLeadSchools.org or iLeadExploration.org. Megan, I want to thank you for joining me this morning. Again, Megan Miller is the curriculum librarian for iLead Exploration, iLead's burgeoning homeschool program. We've got a spot for you. You too can check it out at iLeadExploration.org. Megan, again, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. We're going to break, but I will be right back with This Day in History with a bit of a twist. I am Matt Watson. You're listening to SCVI and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.
Burtech wishes you and your family a safe and prosperous new year. Here's to a wonderful 2022.
The most dangerous threats facing our nation are investigated, chased down, and solved by the FBI.
The world is absolutely a scarier place today.
Discover the largest and most complete collection of real artifacts on tour, spanning the most storied FBI cases in our history.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Investigate 9/11, the Unabomber, Bonnie and Clyde, and more. FBI. From Al Capone to Al Qaeda, now open at the Reagan Library. Don't miss it.
Accidents happen, but rest assured Patterson's Collision Center is here to help. Patterson's is a family-owned and operated collision repair facility providing the Santa Clarita Valley with premium collision repairs. Patterson's prides itself on being the only California-certified green repair shop in all of Santa Clarita. They are insurance claim specialists and even offer payment plans for your deductible. For personalized, friendly service, visit pattersonscollisioncenter.com or call 294-1011 and let Patterson's Collision Center help ease your worries today.
You might not know the difference between a fade, a pompadour, a cropped fringe, or faux mohawk, but the Sport Clips Guys Smart Stylists sure do. We know you don't think about haircuts 24/7. That's Sport Clips' job. That's why Sport Clips specializes in haircuts for men and boys. Sport Clips has turned something you have to do into something you want to do. You don't ever need an appointment at Sport Clips, and you'll walk out feeling like an MVP. Guaranteed. Sport Clips at the Santa Clarita location nearest you.
With locations throughout the valley, Providence offers the most advanced technology and therapies for treating cancer in Southern California. Call 1-888-HEALING for your annual checkup or second opinion. The road to healing leads to Providence.
If you need help at home or at the office, call Made For You. Made For You is a locally owned, bonded, and licensed cleaning service with over 20 years of experience. All employees are vetted for your protection. No need to buy products or equipment. The Made For You staff comes complete with everything needed to make your home or office cleaner than ever. Hire Made For You one time, as needed, or an ongoing basis. No room is off limits. Laundry and ironing services are also available. Call Made For You for a free estimate. 255-2922. That's 255-2922.
Hi, I'm Steve Cruz, and my wife and I own the local pub and grill. With 19 70-inch TVs, it's the best place in the valley to catch a game. We have a vast selection of beer, wine, and specialty cocktails to choose from, including our charity ale, where 10% of every pint we sell goes to Carousel Ranch. Our menu features classics with a flavorful twist. Come by for Taco Trivia Tuesdays at 7, Wines Day for bingo and karaoke starting at 8 p.m., and karaoke every Saturday at 9. Local Pub and Grill, right next to Bevmo on the Old Road. Support local, support community.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVI and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley. Engineer Patty and I were talking NFL playoffs during the break. If we've got some time, maybe we'll break it down a little bit on the air. But right now, it's time for This Day in History with a twist. So all of these facts are, yes, they are based on historical facts. Today is January 21st, 2022. And on this date, in 1977, U.S. President Jimmy Carter granted an unconditional pardon to hundreds of thousands of men who evaded the draft during the Vietnam War, paving the path for future Presidents Clinton, Bush, and Trump to be elected. Hey, you see what I did there? On January 21st, 1910, Angel Island in California's San Francisco Bay opened. Referred to as the Ellis Island of the West, Angel Island became America's major port of entry for Asian immigrants. Over the next 30 years, an estimated 100,000 Chinese citizens and 70,000 Japanese citizens were processed through the nation's second largest point of entry for new residents. It was, however, closed in 1940 when the residents of Alcatraz Island discovered that it could also be used as an exit. Hey. On this date in 2020, not so long ago, the first confirmed case of COVID-19 was found in the U.S. And no, you haters, it was found in Washington State, not Santa Clarita. Gosh, y'all need to get a grip. On January 21st, 1924, Vladimir Lenin died, the architect of the Bolshevik Revolution and the first leader of the Soviet Union, died of a brain hemorrhage at the age of 54, although there are some rumors that he had grown to know so much about the Soviet secret police operations that he had himself declared persona non grata and shipped to the Gulag. And in a related story, on this date in 1793, King Louis XVI, also known as King Louis XVI, also known as King Louis XVI, for you French speakers, says what? Says 16. Well, on this day in 1793, he passed away, coincidentally also of a brain hemorrhage, although his brain hemorrhage was caused when his head was separated from his shoulders by the guillotine. In the Place de la Révolution in Paris, historians still have no idea how a man who never lived to see his 40th birthday could look so old in portraits. On a side note, how is it that Storm the Bastille is still not the name of a heavy metal band? I have no idea. Anyways, on January 21st, 2009, Toyota officially passed General Motors as the world's biggest car maker. And coincidentally, and this is serious, coincidentally, so that was in 2009, they surpassed General Motors, Toyota did, as the world's biggest car maker. And 2 weeks ago, just 2 weeks ago, Toyota officially passed GM as the best-selling car maker in the U.S. So, yeah, that's a true fact, no joke. For the first time in 90 years, GM is no longer the best-selling car brand in the U.S. GM surpassed Ford in 1931 and never looked back. And, well, as it turns out, they should have been looking back. So, on this date in 1959, actor Carl Switzer. Do you remember Carl Switzer? Anyone? Actor Carl Switzer of Our Gang, also known as the Little Rascals. That's right, he was Alfalfa. Yeah, on this date in 1959, Alfalfa, the actor that played Alfalfa, was killed in Mission Hills, California. He died at the age of just 31 in a fight that some people described as a shakedown about money. If I remember the story correctly, somebody had lent him some money, and there was a dispute over how much was owed, and there was a fight. Alfalfa was on the bad end, the receiving end of that fight, and went back to exact some revenge, and well, he lost again, didn't he? Alfalfa, y'all. What a violent death to Alfalfa, cut down at age 31 in a brawl. I always thought he was a lover, not a fighter. Well, so let's talk. We got a couple of minutes here, Patty. Let's talk NFL playoffs. So,
All
yeah,
right.
we are deep into that. Well, not so deep. We're in the division round of the NFL playoffs. We've got, what do we got? 8 teams left on the NFC side. We've got Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the current Super Bowl champions, facing the hometown Rams. How you feeling about the Rams' chance, Patty?
No chance.
No chance?
No chance.
Meaning zero?
Zero.
Okay, so Patty's guaranteeing a loss for the hometown heroes.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so it's, Tom Brady, he's the GOAT, and he's tough to beat. But the winner of that game will go up against the winner of the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers. Who you got in that game?
Unfortunately, I got Aaron Rodgers and the Packers winning that one.
Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be unstoppable.
True.
They got a week off last week, and at this point of the season, it's good to get your players the rest.
Yeah, not that I want San Francisco to win either, but
Okay.
yeah, had to.
All right, so Patty's calling the Packers and the Buccaneers in the NFC Championship game.
Yes, sir.
Let's look at the other side of things, the AFC. So we've got 2 really interesting, really dangerous teams that most would be considered underdogs, except that one of them is actually the number 1 seed in the AFC. The Tennessee Titans, they get Derrick Henry, who's just a beast. He's an absolute beast. They get their running back in Derrick Henry. They're facing the Cincinnati Bengals, who They look great. Joe Burrow looks amazing, and it's tough as a Steelers fan for me to say that. But who do you got, Bengals or Titans?
You know what? I gotta go with the man, the myth, the legend. I gotta go with Joey B, the
Okay.
legend of Joey B.
So Patty's calling the Cincinnati Bengals. All right. Now, the most interesting matchup I think of this weekend
yes, it
is Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. Chiefs were the favorites to win the Super Bowl coming into the season, but the Bills look unstoppable right now. Who you got?
You know what? I'm going to take a close game, and I'm going to take Buffalo. I think they're slightly better than the Chiefs.
I like
They're
Buffalo
hotter.
as well. They're playing their best football
They
at the
are.
right time. So I like Buffalo as well. So we're looking at Buffalo and Cincinnati. So who have you got winning both of those games? Who's going to your Super Bowl, Patty?
All right, my Super Bowl prediction is the Buffalo Bills will go to the Super Bowl and play the Green Bay Packers.
I like it.
I
I'm with
like
you.
it, right?
I
That's
like it.
interesting.
And that'll be a good game. The Super Bowl is not historically a good game, but I would love to see the Bills play the Packers, two cold weather teams playing in sunny Southern California for the Super Bowl. I like the chances. I like your call there, Patty.
I'm going bold today, Matt.
So we will see. Yeah, definitely going bold. And then who have you got winning it all?
Honestly, if it came down to it, my gut says Buffalo. My mind says Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. But I want Buffalo.
Yeah,
I'm going with Buffy.
Aaron Rodgers has got to win another ring, or it just tarnishes his reputation. Yeah, wow,
Good.
Wow. This is not the nice engineer Patty that we normally have. Alrighty, so there you go. There's our quick playoff picks here at Eye on the Valley. Coming up, we'll talk to our friends at Ascend Healthcare. Their managing director Effie Goldberg will be joining us here in the studio in just a moment. They're doing such important work with teens. I always enjoy chatting with Effie, and you're going to enjoy hearing from him too. And a little bit later on, we'll play trivia with Big T to wrap up the show. We had a lot of fun last week, and Big T called me last night. He's excited about the questions he's got ready for us. If you've never heard his segment, it's much more than trivia. It's lots of fun, so stick around. I'm Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVI, and I lead School's Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.
With the safe disposal of waste from our homes in the Santa Clarita Valley, Chiquita Canyon Landfill is able to create enough green energy to power 10,000 homes each year. So you can feel good that the waste from your home in the SCV is helping create a clean energy source and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Chiquita Canyon Landfill is our partner in sustainable living.
Chiquita Canyon is helping lead the way to a greener future. Chiquita Canyon Landfill, our partner in sustainable living.
It's time to experience a pain relief, wellness, and anti-aging treatment unlike any other. It's time to check out Mend Cryotherapy. Relieve chronic joint and muscle pain, diminish soreness and inflammation, alleviate stress-related symptoms, boost immune system performance, and improve sleep and recovery times. Mend Cryotherapy is open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Go to Mend, M-E-N-D, cryotherapy.com on New Hall Ranch.
When you think about your next place, maybe even your forever place, are you hearing more of this and less of this? Introducing 5 Point Valencia, a vibrant new community coming to the Santa Clarita Valley. A place with parks, trails, and fresh architecture, all tuned to the way people want to live today.
College of the Canyons wants you to get ready, reset, and go when it comes to your future. Get ready by choosing from a large list of convenient, affordable spring classes. Hit reset by pursuing a degree, certificate, or skills class for that career you've always wanted. Then go to canyons.edu/schedule and sign up for classes today. Get ready, reset, and go at College of the Canyons. That's canyons.edu/schedule.
It's great to be in Santa Clarita. This is Charlie Kirk inviting you to join me every weekday from 4 till 7. We'll be exploring the latest craziness in the news with my humorous, enlightening perspective. It's a fun, entertaining, and illuminating 3 hours. So let's stay informed together as we free thinkers unite weekdays from 4 to 7 on Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM 1220 and 98.1 FM.
A Royal Suite Home Furnishings has been family-owned and operated in Santa Clarita since 1978. They keep America working by stocking heritage quality furniture made right here in the USA. With high-end design and thousands of fabrics to choose from, a Royal Suite offers a wide selection of furniture at incredibly low prices. Pay 0% interest with your approved credit for 12, 24, 36, or 48 months. See store for details. Visit a Royal Suite, massive showroom on Carl Boyer Drive near Sam's Club in Santa Clarita.
A Royal Suite. Sweet dreams.
No contract pest control. Did you hear that? Yes, Unipest has no contract, low impact, affordable, and environmentally and family friendly pest control options with orange oil or other family friendly products. Whether it's ants, spiders, gophers, termites, or bed bugs, Unipest Termite and Pest Control has an effective, eco-friendly option for you. Call Unipest today for a free orange oil inspection at 661-BUG-7575 or visit unipest.com.
KHTS, AM 1220 and 98.1 FM Santa Clarita. It's 9 o'clock. Time for national news on KHTS.
Face-to-face in Geneva, Elisa Brady, Fox News. The top U.S. and Russian diplomats meeting after weeks of tension as Russia has massed more than 100,000 troops near the Ukrainian border. Fox's Simon Owen is live in London.
Lisa, no breakthroughs, but Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the US and Russia are closer to understanding each other on Ukraine. This following talks in Switzerland today between Blinken and his Russian counterpart.
We didn't expect any major breakthroughs to happen today, but I believe we are now on a clearer path in terms of understanding each other's concerns, each other's positions.
Blinken said the US will respond next week to a series of Russian security demands. The Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said Russia will wait to read that response. Lisa?
Thanks, Simon. The U.S. and NATO have already rejected one Russian demand that Ukraine not be allowed to join the alliance. President Biden holding his second meeting of the week on infrastructure-related improvements. In this case, efforts to boost the supply of semiconductors, which have been in short supply, hitting the auto industry especially hard. Part of the president's focus is to build more in America, also urging Congress to finish work on a semiconductor chip investment bill. The Justice Department isn't ruling out other suspects in the Texas synagogue standoff that ended with the hostage taker dead and the hostages safe. The Attorney General commenting about that ongoing investigation just a short time ago. 2 people have already been arrested in the UK. Separately, Attorney General Merrick Garland just announcing that a Texas man is being charged for making threats against local election officials in Georgia, the first criminal case of its kind since the 2020 election. America is listening to Fox News.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
Human smuggling charges filed after a family of 4 died near the northern U.S. border in Minnesota.
47-year-old Steve Shand, a naturalized U.S. citizen from Jamaica who lives in Florida, faces human smuggling charges out of Minnesota following the deaths of a man, a woman, a teen, and a baby, all from India, who are believed to have died Wednesday on the Canada side of the border trying to enter the U.S. in a rural area in sub-zero temps during a blizzard. It's around the same time investigators say Shand and 2 other illegal immigrants were discovered in his 15-passenger van. Near Lancaster, Minnesota, 5 others found walking, 2 of them hospitalized. Shand is scheduled to make his first appearance in federal court on Monday.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. Comedian Louis Anderson has died. His career went from stand-up to movies to an Emmy for his role as a mom on the FX series Baskets.
It's your 50th. It's half a century, you know.
You could still have a baby. Remember that.
Anderson was 68 and had blood cancer. This is a wide variety of tributes are posted for the singer Meatloaf, who died last night. He was 74 and a baseball fan.
It's your 5th.
My apologies.
When Meatloaf recorded his iconic hit Paradise by the Dashboard Light in 1976, he hired New York Yankees announcer Phil Rizzuto to voice a section of the song, which Meatloaf said in 2016 did not begin so well.
When he got in the studio to record, it was very funny. It was like this. There it is, a line shot up the middle. Look at him go. Boy, he can really fly.
So Meatloaf had an idea how to direct Phil Rizzuto.
We had ordered pizza. I set up pizza boxes as bases, and I went around and ran the bases, and he got into it.
Meatloaf there, who died last night at 74, talking to Fox's Jared Max. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks are holding on to losses to wrap up the week. The disappointing forecast from Netflix has Wall Street lowering its expectations for the streaming company. Netflix, AT&T, and Roku shares are all slumping. However, beauty giant Coty's shares are rallying. Analysts at D.A. Davidson raised their forecast for Coty because demand picked up for its CoverGirl and Sally Hansen brands. They also say Kylie Kardashian's beauty line, Kylie Skin, is off to a good start. Sealy has created an eco-friendly and responsibly sourced mattress brand. The company says the Sealy Naturals mattresses are created with 100% natural latex and ethically harvested wool, and the cover is made of soft hemp and organic cotton. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Coselda, invested in you.
Biden's massive spending plan has expanded America's money supply and taken money out of your pocket. But you can fight back against runaway inflation by sheltering your IRA or 401k with gold through Birch Gold Group. This is Stephen K. Bannon, and I'm proud to be a customer of Birch Gold. Join me. Birch Gold has created a free info kit on protecting your retirement with gold in a tax-sheltered account. Just text the words SHELTER to 989898. Text SHELTER to 989898 and learn how to shelter your IRA or 401k with gold.
Thanks for listening to KHTS AM 1220, Canyon Country, California. K260 CO 98.1 FM, Santa Clarita, California.
SCVI is a tuition-free TK through 12 charter school that gives your child boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely. We offer a customized learning program built around your child's unique interests and strengths, with the only international baccalaureate program in all of Santa Clarita. Our approach keeps students and families in step no matter where your learning is taking place. Be empowered to make your mark on the world at SCVI. To take a tour or enroll now in our one-of-a-kind program, visit iLeadSantaClarita.org. iLead Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
Once heart attack symptoms begin, delaying treatment increases the risk of heart damage, disability, and even death. Time is critical. Leading the Valley with the most advanced digital technology and treatment times that beat national best practice goals, Providence offers emergency coronary angioplasty and stenting performed by highly trained board-certified cardiologists. For more information, call 1-888-HEALING. The road to healing leads to Providence.
No doubt about it, LA is an awesome place to live. But even while living in the land of beaches and mountains, it's safe to say that we could all use a real vacation right about now. One where you don't have to stop for gas, cook your own meals, or strip your own sheets. Lucky for us, Princess Cruises has a port right here in LA. Now, for a limited time, LA residents can sail with Princess from just $89 per day to the beaches of Mexico, the tropics of Hawaii, or cruise along the California coast without getting stuck in traffic. That's right, just $89 per day. And while these great destinations aren't going anywhere, these deals won't be around forever. So visit princess.com, call 1-800-PRINCESS, or contact your travel advisor to book your cruise today. Set sail with LA's cruise line, Princess Cruises. Terms and restrictions apply. Promotional pricing ends November 30th, 2021. Ships are Bermudan and British registry. Before booking, consult the CDC website at www.cdc.gov.
The following is sponsored programming and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. I am Matt Watson, your host, and you are listening to SCVI and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley. We're coming to you live from the KHTS studios here at the center of Main Street in beautiful downtown Newhall. It is Friday morning, and downtown Newhall is a great place for you to spend your Friday evening. I'm actually going to be spending my Friday evening down here myself. For those of you that are watching us on Facebook Live, you'll notice that my next two guests are joining me in studio. They combine their talents to run Ascend Healthcare Adolescent Residential Treatment Centers. We have co-founder and managing director, Effie Goldberg. He has over 13 years of experience as a business executive and community leader. His record of decisiveness, initiative, and perseverance has made him into a creative, innovative, and effective leader, facilitator, and team player. His 20-plus year commitment to teens is well known in the Jewish and nonprofit worlds, and his continued focus on the intersection of adolescence and well-being has created a unique, driven, and devoted program of recovery, healing, and mindfulness at Ascend Healthcare. And his partner, Brittany Cohen, holds a Master's of Social Work from the University of Southern California. She's a Trojan. And she has over 10 years' experience working with adolescents in a variety of acute treatment settings, including inpatient and outpatient mental health and substance abuse facilities, schools, and regional centers. She's built and directed both intensive outpatient and partial hospitalization programs for teens struggling with things like depression, anxiety, mood disorders, substance use disorders, trauma, and executive functioning impairments. Brittany is also a skilled, licensed clinical social worker specializing in complex mental health issues and family systems. She hails from Tucson, Arizona, and is the executive director, as well as the director of operations still? Executive director of Ascend Healthcare. Effie and Brittany, welcome back to Eye on the Valley.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Love having you guys in. You are some of my favorite guests because you guys do some extremely difficult work in an area that is so needed. So why don't we just kick it off here? Why don't you tell us about Ascend Healthcare? What is it that you guys do?
Ascend Healthcare is an adolescent residential treatment center. We focus on teenagers who are suffering from mental health and substance abuse. We are, last time we were here, we just opened up a girls program in Santa Clarita, which is called the Canyons. Girls who ages 12 to 17 who are suffering from trauma and anxiety. And just recently, a couple weeks ago, we opened up another house in Santa Clarita, which is a boys program, nearby the other house. And it's similar issues, trauma and anxiety. And it's very cool to be able to be a resource for families which are struggling that are looking for inpatient places. So there's, you mentioned intense outpatient, but this is a residential program where the clients will sleep in the house.
So it's kind of a sliding scale, right? Raising teenagers is not easy, and there are a wide variety of issues that parents come up against, and let's face it, parenting, I don't care how many books are out there, and I don't care how great Dr. Spock was, kids don't come with an instruction manual that if A, then B, and sometimes, many times, parents need some support. So let's talk about that scale. If your kid's struggling with addiction or depression or some of the many different issues you treat, there's kind of like that ladder of support, right? I may have a therapist work with my child an hour a week, and then let's take it up from there, from maybe an hour a week therapy. What might be the next more intensive setting until we get to a setting like yours?
Yeah, I mean, I think we always recommend to our families to kind of start with what we would say like the least restrictive, right? Like we want them to kind of start with the smallest and then get to the biggest if they unfortunately need it.
We do the same thing in education, so you don't want to immediately, discover something in your kid's backpack and kick them out of the house and send them somewhere else, right? Okay.
Yes, you definitely want to be cautious and, kind of take it slow. I think so much of what we see, and is helping our parents kind of sift through what is, typical normative adolescent teen behavior and what are things that are much more kind of severe and concerning. So for our kids who are, in therapy, maybe once a week or maybe twice a week, and it just doesn't seem to be containing enough, meaning they're still struggling at home or they're still, their symptoms are getting worse, then a lot of times we would recommend that those teens go into an intensive outpatient program. And those programs are typically after school based, right? So we would anticipate that the kiddo is still going to school, kind of functioning decently in the school setting, right? We're still going to lean on the community members for support in the school. And then an IOP is going to allow them to get, typically about 9 hours a week of therapeutic support. And then if that's ineffective, right, typically what you start to see is your kids then really starting to struggle academically. Right, so then you might recommend, well, let's do a full day program or a partial hospitalization, right? And now we've removed the kid from the school setting, right? And now all
but
day,
they're still living at home.
But they're still living at home.
Gotcha.
Right, and for about 8 hours a day, they're kind of, they're doing therapeutic groups and individual therapy and family therapy, but they're outside of the school setting, but they're going home and they're sleeping at home. And, if things escalate where even that is not enough to kind of help solve some of the problems, then you would really be looking at, something like a residential treatment center, where, that's kind of separating everyone in the family for a bit, right? It's allowing the kid time away from home, to really kind of work on some of these things, to go through the issues in a very contained and safe space. And for the family, right, to work out some of this stuff and not have to be in the house together, right, after some of these really difficult, sessions. And then, unfortunately, we have kids who skip all of that, right? Sometimes we have kids who have never gone to therapy, never done the outpatient programs, but things are so significant, right? They're so unsafe at home. They're suicidal. They've been hospitalized, right?
Sure.
And they, unfortunately for those kids, right, we don't have an option to kind of slow down, right? We really are looking at
there's some
safety
situations
concerns.
you don't want to scale.
Exactly,
Yeah.
where we're like, okay, we bypass the scaling and now we're just going to go right into, something a little bit more significant. And then it works backwards, right? And then we kind of titrate back down when we have a kid leaving residential. We recommend all those step downs back in.
That's a good point, because you don't want to go from the full residential setting where kids are literally being treated 24 hours a day to, okay, tomorrow you're going to be back on your high school campus and back at home with your parents and your little brother.
Right.
Right, because that can be, dropping that ice cube into a warm glass of Dr. Pepper.
For sure. It's a lot of stressors all at once,
Sure.
right? So yeah, we like to, kind of help our kiddos ease back into the real world.
And it isn't, it's something on that point is that it's not just for that kiddo who's going to treatment. It's really the family.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
We spend around 6 to 8 weeks, 6 to 8 hours a week with the parents, while the client gets about 8 hours of clinical a day in our program. And granted, it's a 24/7 setting, so there's clinical the entire time, where we have staff there the entire time and monitoring and making sure it's a safe place. But this is not it's not a babysitting service. It's not like, okay, here we'll pay you afterwards. Just tell me your hourly rate for babysitting. No, it's a really immersive experience where the parents and their child together are working. We want to set up the families for technical success, and in order to be able to do that, we need parental buy-in.
Yeah.
And we need, guardian, whatever the situation is, we need buy-in from the family. And that's the hard part. It's the easy part because families really want it to happen. It's the hard part when you have to do the grind.
Sure.
It's in doing the work. So it's
sure. And that's a really good point that I was going to bring up, because families can, tend to have the notion, well, I didn't deal with that when I was a kid. And I kind of... I don't mean to be condescending to anyone, but, when I was in school, I did my work. I went to school. I, for the most part, did what my parents told me to do, and it was smooth sailing. So there's a problem with my kid, right? But what I learned as a parent of teens is that things like depression, anxiety, addiction, those are family issues. Those are not childhood issues. Those are not teenage issues. They're family issues. I love that you work with the family, even when a family might say, I need some help with my child. So, yeah, very important. So what does the setting look like? You mentioned that you have these residential homes. Now, when I think residential home, I think of the house that I live in. So what does your facility look like? What does the treatment look like on the day-to-day?
I'll talk about the aesthetics. She can talk about the treatment.
Okay, great, perfect.
So so as I mentioned, we have 2 houses in Encino, and those are smaller properties and 2 like beautiful homes in neighborhoods, and like I said, it's very very safe space. Very grass is green. It's really beautiful. We're not throwing any loud parties at night, kind of thing. But it's really simple, very very humble homes and properties. Here in Santa Clarita, it's the same thing. But what I love about being out here is that there's land, and it's incredible. So we're both houses are sitting on about 2.5 acres.
Oh, okay.
And the girls' house is actually on a hill setting. So what's really cool is that we built this massive pergola on top of the hill, so they'll do like sunset yoga kind of thing.
Oh,
and
wow!
I mean, it's a farm. So we have horses, and we have goats, and we have a pig, and it's really very very beautiful. So it's the property is just really just serene and special and just feel good. The boys program is a little bit different. Also sits on about 2.5 acres. Same thing. We actually have a sheep, and we have some goats and horses. Because part of that, and Brittany will talk about why we believe in equine therapy or animal therapy, animal assisted therapy. But the house also, it's for the boys' home, we have a little bit more outdoors activities. We built a basketball court and a baseball hitting area, batting cage, and a punting green, and a skateboard park, like a little bit more active in the boys' home. And again, it just sits on a beautiful property, and it's you look from the outside in, it's just looks like a regular house, and really just nice. So that's the aesthetics. Now you can talk about the real work. Just that stuff.
Yeah. I think as far as all of the properties go, I think it's really just having the kids come in and know, we respect them so tremendously. It's not a punishment that they're with us and they don't need to be in a space that's not nice, and that's not something that, we really want them to be really concerned about. So the house kind of lends itself, they do all of their programming in there, right? So they need to be, it needs to be spacious enough that they're not all getting kind of cabin fever in there. So they do all their group therapy in the house. And then, as Effie was saying, our 2 programs in Santa Clarita have a really large emphasis on animal-assisted therapy, but also just ecotherapy in general. We're really trying to use the outdoors of Santa Clarita to get our kids kind of reconnected with nature. And, for trauma specifically, animal-assisted work is really proven to be quite effective. There's a lot of lack of safety that kids experience following a traumatic event, and whether that's, something that's more little t, what they say, trauma, or something that's larger t, there's a lack of safety, and so connecting with an animal or being able to show up for an animal and take care of yourself is really important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And gosh, I've got to think that in a setting like you guys have, and as amazing as your staff is, sometimes it might be tough for kids to leave when it's time for them to start transitioning back. Is it ever, do you ever have kids say, no, I'd rather stay another week or 2?
All the time.
All the time. We have kids crying when they come in, like, I don't want to be here. And then they're crying on the way out, like, no, I don't want to leave.
But I think, and we always kind of say this to them at the start of their treatment, like, when they don't want to leave is when they're ready to go.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's less about like the idea of leaving the really nice space and setting, and more about their understanding of how hard they have to work in order to maintain their progress in the outside world.
Yeah. So you mentioned it's important for them not to be cooped up and jammed together. And I know, well, let's be honest. If families are dealing with stuff like this, they may have been in different settings. My son was in a hospital setting for a few days, and that was not a comfortable setting. No. Space about as big as this studio that the 4 of us are crammed into, he shared with another person for 72 hours. How many teens do you guys treat in your homes at a time?
We only work with 6 kids at a time.
6 at a time. Okay.
Yeah.
So now you mentioned you've got the 2 homes in Encino, 2 here in Santa Clarita.
Yep.
So that's 6 times 4,
Yep.
right? Okay. So but 6 in a home at a time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And each program operates really as its own, operation. So it's like those 6 kids are with each other. Their program is their program and very separate from the 6 kids who might be in another house or facility. And we do that because we really want to provide the right kind of treatment service to each population that we're working with.
So that's interesting. So there may be a family that needs your support and care that lives up here in Santa Clarita, but it might be a better match for them to be at one of the homes in Encino.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we are, yes, we obviously we try to service as many families as we can locally, but we do get kids all over the world.
I can imagine there's probably, especially now with the pandemic and everything that kids are going through, forget COVID, the last 10 years kids have been going through and dealing with more than they ever had to before. There's got to be quite a bit of demand.
A little bit.
Okay. And so you started, what, about a decade ago?
No,
you
started, Santa Healthcare is 5 years old.
5 years? Okay.
Yeah. Started on my
Wow.
January 1, 2017 was the first day that Ascend Healthcare opened. And we're now 4 houses in, and we've developed some really great relationships with different hospitals and different communities and from the mental health space and the addiction space. And it's really it's been great to have, we surround ourselves with people who care. Wow. And
you have to.
Yeah, exactly.
The work is too hard not to.
Exactly. And it's a sensitive, growing up as a teenager, it's hard enough, and you throw in hormones, you throw in COVID, you throw in life, you throw in stressors, and you throw in TikTok and all those things. It's just like, it used to be Facebook, now it's TikTok or whatever it is. There's just a lot, and it's hard for a teen to just focus on who am I and what am I about, and whether they're going through, whatever they're going through, and lots of challenges. We want to be able to, especially on the properties, it's, there's no phones. Kids don't have their phones. There's no they can't just turn on a TV. They have a very schedule. You wake up in the morning, you have your chores, you work out, you have breakfast, and then you basically go to work. And the work is some kind of therapeutic group or individual therapy, and you're with your peers, and you're really growing together. And what's cool about it is that the kids, the 6 kids, they become their own family. And they call each other out with their own nonsense.
I bet.
It's just like, because they want to level up in our system in order to be able to like go to Universal Studios, kind of like, there are ways to make it fun even within the hard work that they do, and it's really it's really something special to see.
So it takes time to develop those kind of relationships. What's kind of the average stay? How long are kids typically with you guys?
So we typically ask for anywhere from 45 to 90 days. And it really, we kind of make that assessment, initially in the beginning, kind of based on the, symptoms that we're seeing. And we change it as we go through the progress of treatment. It's hard we really look at the child as an individual and where it is that we need them to be, so that we can really make a good assessment that they're going to be safe, and that everybody is going to be able to kind of internally manage the issues at home.
Okay.
And so, I think that where we are at in the world, I think that we've seen a lot, there's a tremendous lack of community and lack of resources available to people now because of COVID, and that's really hard, or a lot of things have converted over to, the internet space, which isn't necessarily the best for kids who are really struggling with acute mental health disorders, right? And so we're seeing our kids stay a little bit longer. I think right now our average length of stay is about 57 days.
Okay. 50.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So that's a decent amount of time. All right. Now, we do need to take a quick commercial break, but before we do, I know families are wondering, okay, how do I get in contact, whether it's to ask, is it time for something residential, or where can you refer me to?
Yes.
Or, I know it's time, how can I get my kid in one of your homes? How do folks get a hold of you guys?
So definitely the website, www.ascendhc.com, ASCEND, as in David, HC.com. there's a lot of resources there. There's a lot of links there, our phone numbers there, our admissions teams there. Or I would say the phone number to the admissions team. That everything is really on the website.
Okay, and we're going to have producer Sarah drop that in the Facebook Live feed as well. We're talking this morning to Managing Director and Executive Director of Ascend Healthcare Adolescent Residential Treatment Center, Effie Goldberg and Brittany Cohen. As we said, raising teens is hard, and sometimes you need some real support. Effie and Brittany and their team are providing that support. We'll talk more about that after this. I'm Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVI and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.
Celebrate the new year at the brand new 3-story Reyes Winery on Main building. With wine tasting from Reyes Winery on Main's ultra-premium wines, you'll relax high up on Santa Clarita's only patio rooftop wine bar and dining in Old Town Newhall. Experience the wine bar with a group of your friends or make it a romantic rendezvous. Celebrate 2022 at the new Reyes Patio Roof Wine Bar and Dining. Details at reyeswineryonmain.com.
Why did Mercedes-Benz of Valencia win the Dealer of Excellence Award in 2019?
Because we strive to provide the most outstanding sales experience.
Mercedes-Benz of Valencia COO Chris Paz.
We know you have high expectations. Our stellar team will meet and exceed your expectations. That's why we were named Mercedes Best of the Best, placing us in the top 10% of all Mercedes dealers nationwide.
Find out how you can lease a new Mercedes for unbelievably low monthly payments. Details at mbzvalencia.com.
SCVI is a tuition-free TK through 12 charter school that gives your child boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely. We offer a customized learning program built around your child's unique interests and strengths, with the only international baccalaureate program in all of Santa Clarita. Our approach keeps students and families in step no matter where your learning is taking place. Be empowered to make your mark on the world at SCVI. To take a tour or enroll now in our one-of-a-kind program, visit ileadsantaclarita.org. iLead Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVI and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley. I'm your host, Matt Watson, and we're talking this morning about intensive care for teens struggling with, well, some of the difficult issues that teens struggle with. We've got Effie Goldberg and Brittany Cohen. They work at Ascend Healthcare Adolescent Residential Treatment Center. We mentioned before, this is tough work, and nobody gets into this work unless they love it and have a passion for it. How did the two of you find this line of work? How did you get into working with teens struggling with significant issues?
My aunt is a social worker, and she works with foster youth, and I always admired her greatly. And she has 2 kids who are on the, who have, just various mental health issues, and she worked really diligently to make sure that her kids had just the best possible life and that they were capable of everything that they could be capable of. And it really made me aware of how one person can make such a huge difference in somebody's life. If you're going to work extra hard to help that person, you can really create significant change. So I went to grad school to become a social worker, and I had my first internship at an adolescent residential treatment center, and I was walking up the hill, and these 2 kids just kind of collided in front of me, and the staff came running out, and I was like, this is amazing. And it was amazing to see the kids have this episode and come back together and heal, and the staff handle the situation. And, I loved all the different types of people that were there and the different types of disorders that I was getting to learn about. And then you just, there's just nothing cooler than helping a teenager, essentially commit to wanting to live and go through all of the ups and downs of life, and their families. I'm just a very family-oriented person, and so to me, it's it's just a really important thing to help parents show their kids how much they love them, and to help families kind of learn about each other in that way, because I think we're super lucky. We get to work with really beautiful families who really love their kids so tremendously, and are oftentimes just kind of stuck. So that's how I got into it, and I love it, and I can't imagine ever doing anything else.
I'm not sure if I can follow that. I'm so like ditto.
Well, you got into it for the fame,
sure,
of course, yeah.
For the fame, exactly.
Exactly, totally. I'm not a clinician, but I did spend the 3 pillars of Ascend are something that I've been doing. I worked in a Jewish nonprofit before, family, passion, empowerment, and I worked with teenagers to teach them how to develop into becoming passionate people. It was through religion. I'm an Orthodox Jewish rabbi, so that was the nonprofit that I was part of. And you know, I've always been working with teens and helping teens, so it's like almost like a natural shift. 5 years ago when I started Ascend, I went from helping people spiritually and now helping people physically.
Okay.
And I just love the opportunity to help people. I like saying I got a guy, you know. And we you know, Ascend Healthcare.
He does always have a guy. I wouldn't recommend the guy.
You know, we started off with 1 employee, and today we have over 100 employees, and it's like I got a guy, you know, and we'll find a way to be able to help. I like to have the avenue to really help families. Like I said, it's not just the individuals, really the families, and the program that Brittany has really helped build is just so special because we have 4 diagnostically driven homes, helps very individualized care, and I can say, yeah, I got a guy, you know. So.
But and you know, I've witnessed you making connections. You're really good at it. Now, you mentioned that here in Santa Clarita, you've got 2 homes. You've got one for boys, one for girls, and that in and of itself, the last decade or so, has really become an issue for a lot of families in dealing with something that we don't always know how to deal with when teens are starting to try to work out their sexual identity, their gender identity. How do you guys, because that can be sticky when trying to determine a placement for a child. How do you guys handle teens that come to you from the LGBTQ community?
That's you.
You know, I mean, I think, you know, first of all, as an organization, we are really, you know, dedicated to that particular population. So I would say, you know, we get lucky in the sense that most families that are seeking us out, you know, that's something that they are, you know, comfortable with to some degree or to some level. It's not always the case. But we really try and focus on, with all of our kids, just kind of the process of things and not about the content, right? It's like, you know, the kids are exploring their identities, and it's not fixed at the time, right? That's right. Their developmental task is to explore who they are. And so how can we teach our parents to help their children explore who they are in a way that's safe and positive and healthy and free of judgment, you know? And that's really what it is, you know, because one day you might be struggling with the fact that, you know, your child is gay, and then you realize a couple weeks later, well, now they want to kill themselves, and that's actually a much more important thing. And so, you know, maybe I need to really focus on what is important, and how do we do that? You know, how can we help our child to feel loved, even though we might have differences, right? Because I think that's also really important too, right? We can't change every parent's mind, right? Or get them to endorse particular things about their child. But we can certainly teach our parents, like, well, how do you talk to your kids about these things, and how can you be supportive, right, in a way that's appropriate to you, right? But that's not really painful to your child, you know? And I think more than anything, it's providing these kids with a community of peers who are similar to them, who are struggling and going through the same thing, right? Like, we work with kids who are, you know, exploring their gender identity, or, you know, kids who are saying, I'm trans, and they don't oftentimes get to go to school with other trans kids, right? And it's like, just meeting another kid who, you know, shares a similar identity to you or is struggling in the same way is really healing, right? Because we ultimately can't change the world and how harsh the world might be, to these kids,
Right.
right? But our hope is like, can we build up their resiliency enough to know that they're important, despite the fact that, like, you know, the jerk that works at the gas station, you know, might not feel that way about you, you know?
Yeah, gosh, such important work, and I love how delicately you work with families, right? Because I know, same thing as, you know, some of the other issues that we talked about, transitioning, a teen transitioning, that's a family that's transitioning, and whether they want to or not, and it can be a difficult conversation. I had a conversation with a dad not too long ago that was really struggling with his teen transitioning and really pushing back. And I said, look, I get it, and I understand, and this is not an easy process for you either. Let me ask you this. Let's talk about priorities for your child and what you want for your child. And this issue, where does that fall? And he says, well, it's maybe top 10. I said, okay, so let's talk about the other 9. All right, let's focus on those. And that really helped him shift, not into radical change in his life, but focusing on what's important for his child, which is ultimately where we need to get.
Yeah.
So, the facilities you run, I've seen them. They're absolutely beautiful. The treatment that you deliver is state of the art. I can't imagine that it's cheap. Do you guys take insurance? How accessible is this for families, or do you find that families are often priced out?
I mean, look, we are very insurance friendly as a program. There's no doubt about it. I think, you know, most people choke when they hear our per day costs because it is high, you know, it's definitely high. But we are very insurance friendly. We do take most insurance. We're in network with a lot of different insurance companies. And so we really try our best to make this as financially accessible to families as possible. You know, with that being said, we all know that there is a huge population of people who, you know, are on Medi-Cal or things like that. And unfortunately, Ascend doesn't accept Medi-Cal, and there's not a ton of adolescent providers that do. So certainly I would say that there is a lack of access to services for a large population of local teens.
And as a society, we've got to work on that.
We do.
Because talking about life and death issues often, not sometimes, and even when it's not that critical, it's still the critical and pivotal decisions that teens are making that will determine the course of the rest of their lives. So we need to do what we can, work with our insurance companies and our government to make sure that this type of care, whatever care our kids need, is accessible to them. Don't have a lot more time, but I want to ask you about, there seems to be kind of a generational gap in terms of how we look at mental health care, right? It's something that as, you know, my generation, we still whisper about, right? And, you know, I talk openly on purpose about the therapy that my kids receive and have received and receive a tremendous benefit about on purpose, because my generation doesn't talk about it much, even though we may understand the importance. Our kids talk about it all the time. They have no qualms about it.
Social currency.
So I'm sorry, what was that? What?
Social currency.
Oh, okay. I see.
It's the new term that I've recently learned.
Okay.
You know,
Is that?
I feel like our kids are just like, this generation of kids is so much cooler. I mean, they're just so much more emotionally like in tune and attuned. You know, their strategies for connecting with other people are just a lot more savvy. You know, the culture of empathy, while I think can be debilitating for people at times, I think is just super awesome for these kids. I mean, the support that they give one another, I think, yeah, you're right. Like, had you gone to an adolescent residential treatment, it probably would not have felt the same.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I had a close friend who did, and it was very much swept under the rug, but this is, you know, back in the 80s. I recently saw, I think it was California Superintendent of Public Schools, Tony Thurman, give a speech a couple of years ago. And he said, I look forward to the day, he says, I just moved into a new home. The next door neighbor came over with a souffle and said, if you're looking for a dentist, I have the best dentist. He says, I look forward to a day when that neighbor comes over with the souffle and says, oh, I've got the best psychiatrist. So, you know, he's right around the corner, you know, that kind of thing. Because mental health care is health care.
I also think society today is really, between all the platforms of screen time from Netflix
Yeah.
to Hulu. I think each company is taking their own approach and direction and stories, and everyone's telling stories. And I think there's a lot out there that sweeping under the rug is not really cool anymore.
Yeah.
Talking about things, but the idea is not just talking about it, but really working on it, getting to the bottom, processing it, learning what can we learn from that experience or that that situation. And yeah, I mean there are aspects of the world which is cruel, and luckily we live in a world where there's also a tremendous amount of support. Yeah. And you have to look for it, and you have to go after it, and you are obligated to really just to try to find the best place for yourself, for your family, for the people around you.
Brittany Cohen, Effie Goldberg from Ascend Healthcare. They're providing residential treatment for teens that are struggling with some pretty strong issues in their life, but they're also available. They and their staff are available for families who don't know what the right placement is. And like Effie says, he knows a guy. If his treatment center is not the right place for your family, he can get you connected with the service that is right for you guys. I want to thank you both for everything that you do for our kids. You guys know how much you're changing lives for so many kids, and we appreciate it. We always appreciate you coming in. Thank you. You have a good weekend. This is SCVI and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley. I'm your host, Matt Watson, and we will be right back. We're going to goof off a little bit with my big brother. Big T's going to be calling in. We're going to play trivia, so stick around. You're listening to your hometown station, KHTS.
KHTS strives to give the Santa Clarita Valley all the information they need. And when our computers aren't working the way they should, we call Resurgence your true source for IT. Resurgence provides outstanding customer service while also providing the highest technical ability. They strive to do what's best to improve and protect your business. For more information on Resurgence, call 349-4114 or visit resurgenceit.com.
It's murder, mystery, and mayhem at the Canyon Theater Guild. Usher in the new year with laughter and mystery at the hilarious comedy Whodunit, Clue on Stage. Was it Miss Scarlet in the kitchen with the wrench? Perhaps it was Mr. Green in the billiard room with the rope. Only one way to find out. Based on the popular board game and adapted from the cult classic film, Clue on Stage will keep audiences guessing and laughing to the very end. Get your tickets by calling 661-799-2702 or online at canyontheater.org.
No words can describe the power of belonging to a group of close friends or being part of a family. Insight Treatment Center was founded more than 20 years ago to give teenagers a community of friends and family as they overcome issues like depression, anxiety, and trauma. The new Santa Clarita location is a COVID-secure and providing intensive outpatient treatment to teenagers. Insight Treatment Center in Santa Clarita is here to help. Call 888-295-9995 or go online to insighttreatment.com.
It's time to enhance your natural beauty at Hestia Medical Spa. Select from a large menu of services, including an assortment of fillers that can be used in the face, lips, hands, and a variety of other body parts. Get rid of that double chin with Kybella, an injectable treatment to permanently destroy fat cells under the chin. Hestia Medical Spa also offers Botox, Dysport, and Xeomin to help reduce severe frown lines. Experience rejuvenation at Hestia Medical Spa, located on Valencia Boulevard next to City Hall. Call 753-3434 or go online to hestiamedicalspa.com.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
And welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVI and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley, and I am your host, Matt Watson. I'd like to welcome into the room Engineer Andrew. How you doing, brother man?
Hello, doing great. It's Friday.
Absolutely, it is definitely Friday. Glad to have you back in here. We appreciate it. And now, that can only mean one thing. It is time for Big T's 5 Minutes of Fame. Y'all know Big T. He is a longtime resident and leader in the Santa Clarita Valley. He's an executive and a philanthropist. I I always come really close to messing up on that word. He's a philanthropist. That means he helps people. He's an amazing father, a great husband, a community leader. And you know, Big T is a lot like a slinky. He's not good for much, but it will bring a smile to your face when you push him down the stairs. He is Mom's favorite. Big T, welcome to the show.
Yeah, hey, thanks. I'll take that compliment.
Hey, no problem. I always got your back, right?
Way back.
Right. In fact, I think we were talking on Facebook a little bit earlier this week about how I got your back. But we won't talk about that on the radio. We'll leave that to social media. Anyways.
I actually just missed my back and stuck into the wall.
Yeah, hey. I said we're going to talk about that on social media, not the radio, Big T.
Gotcha. You ready?
We are ready, so we're going to go ahead and play trivia here. We've got Engineer Andrew, Engineer Patty, and we've got Maddie. But when Big T throws out his questions, we got to hit our buzzer, right? And our buzzer is our name. So I'm going to switch because Matt sounds like Patty, so I'm going to go with Frogger. You guys can shorten it to Patty and Andrew. You playing at home, you play with a significant advantage. You don't have to hit your buzzer. Don't shout your name like we do. Just shout the answer. Now you keep score and see if you can beat us. Patty started out strong last week. Looked like Patty was going to run away with it, but then he got gassed, and we both ended up passing him, Andrew.
An epic collapse.
All right, Big T, let's do this.
So I got a fun fact, and then I've got a little bit of sports trivia, a little bit more sports trivia than I normally have, but I think you guys are going to enjoy it.
Okay.
So fun fact, yesterday the Dodgers actually named a new general manager.
They did?
I don't know if you know that or not.
I did.
They did. They named Brandon Gomes as their general manager, filling the vacated role by Andrew Friedman.
Let's go, Brandon.
You know, Matt, that the Dodgers were founded in 1883, yet Gomes is only their 12th general manager in history.
Wow, that's almost like the Pittsburgh Steelers coaching job.
100%.
Oh,
that's a good thing.
Perfect. All right, so a little bit of Dodger fun since we've got a Dodger fun fact. I'm going to go through some of the retired numbers from the Dodgers. You tell me who the player is. We'll start out with the easiest one. Are we ready?
Yes.
Number 42.
Okay. All right.
Go for it, Patty.
Wait, I got it. Jackie Robinson.
Perfect. Number 2.
Frogger. Pee Wee Reese.
Incorrect.
No. Yeah.
Andrew. I was going to say.
Andrew.
Was it Lasorda too?
Tommy Lasorda is the retired number 2.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
Number 19.
Yeah. No.
Second baseman. Sometimes played third base. If I notice some pause, I'll keep it moving.
Right.
It's actually Jim Gilliam.
Oh, well, of course.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay. Number 32. Pitcher.
See, okay, Andrew. Ugh.
Andrew.
I was thinking too young. No, I was going Gagne.
Incorrect.
Frogger.
32 left-handed pitcher. Go for it, Frogger.
Sandy Koufax.
Yeah.
That is correct.
And that's why
Number
Chris
39. Catcher. Now paralyzed.
Frogger.
Andrew.
Oh.
Andrew.
Andrew.
No, I think it was Andrew first.
Okay.
Campanella.
There you go.
Yes, Roy Campanella is correct. Number 53. Pitcher.
Frogger. Don Drysdale.
Correct.
Don.
Number 1.
Frogger.
Frogger.
That one's Pee Wee.
There's Pee Wee Reese. Number 20. Pitcher.
Yeah.
Big Afro. Also played for the Braves, but mainly a Dodger.
Nope. Nope.
All righty, Don Sutton.
Yeah, I wanted to say Drysdale again, but yeah, okay, yeah.
Right. And to round it out, the last one was number 24, Walter Alston, who was also a manager. So staying with a sports theme, we got NFL playoffs. I heard you guys talking about it earlier. So what team has played in the most Super Bowls?
Frogger.
Patty.
Frogger.
Cowboys?
Incorrect, Patty.
San Francisco 49ers?
Oh, Patty, I can't believe you missed that. No, incorrect.
Oh.
Andrew, you got anything?
Let's go Steelers.
Incorrect.
I agree with Andrew. Let's go Steelers.
Boo.
Let's go Steelers. The Patriots have played in 11 Super Bowls.
Okay, that would make sense.
Okay. What team has won the most Super Bowls?
Frogger. That's also the Patriots.
Teams have won the most Super Bowls.
Okay, so
Patriots shared with?
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers. They each have 6 wins.
Yes, they do.
What team has the most Super Bowl losses? What 2 teams?
Patty.
Patty.
I know this one because the pain in my heart for one of them. The Bills and the Vikings. I'm sorry, Father.
Incorrect on both. Incorrect on both.
Zoinks.
I'm sorry, Father.
I appreciate you called your shot, though.
Let's go, Andrew. Let's go Bills.
Incorrect.
Ooh.
But you can go one more.
Oh. All right.
The Patriots have played in 11 games and won 6 of them. The Bills have only lost 4 Super Bowls.
See, I was going to guess Patriots and then also the Cowboys.
Okay. It's Patriots and Broncos.
Broncos.
Sorry, Denver.
All right. Do we know 1 point for each of these? What 4 teams have never played in the Super Bowl? And
Frogger.
you guys can just shout this out. Frogger, go.
The Chargers.
Patty.
Correct.
No?
Patty.
The Jaguars.
Jaguars is 1.
Patty
Three
again.
more.
That's the only 2 I need.
Okay.
Houston Texans.
That is correct. That's 2 for Patty.
Frogger.
2 more teams, Frogger.
The Panthers.
That is incorrect.
No, they played one.
Really?
Yeah, they played one.
I'm trying to think.
2 more. Old teams.
Old teams. Patty, Lions.
Pat, that is correct. That's 3 for Patty. 1 more.
He's a savant over there.
I am a savant. My father trained me well.
Let's just start naming them.
I'm trying to think. Gosh.
Nope.
No, I got nothing on this one.
I'll give it to you. Cleveland Browns.
The Browns.
What city has hosted the most Super Bowls?
Frogger.
Miami is correct.
That
at
makes
11.
sense. That makes sense.
Can you name the only team that ever played a home game in the Super Bowl?
Patty.
Go.
Patty and Frogger at the same time. We're going to give it to Patty.
That's Tampa Bay.
That is correct.
Last year.
Well, it could happen again this year, but according to Engineer Patty, it won't.
It's not happening.
He guaranteed it.
Exactly.
Guaranteed it's not
What
happening.
college has produced the most Super Bowl quarterbacks?
Ooh.
They are in our state.
Patty.
Frogger.
Patty.
Oh, I know it.
Patty.
Patty and then Frogger.
This is UCLA.
Incorrect.
That is incorrect.
Dang it.
Stanford.
Incorrect.
Oh, let's go USC.
Incorrect.
Yes, Chico State.
It is the Cal Bears. Rodgers. And a lineage of players.
Bears.
Yeah, Joe Cap that went to Cal as well.
Alrighty. So currently we got Patty with 5, Frogger with 5, and Engineer Andrew with 2. You're getting smoked this morning, brother.
We're moving off of sports trivia, going into general trivia. What was the name of the first film in the Harry Potter series?
Patty.
Patty.
Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Or the Sorcerer's Stone.
Correct.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
It's the book.
In which movie was the iconic DeLorean time machine
Patty.
a refrigerator? Patty?
Back to the Future. Marty McFly.
Very true. Which movie depicted the battle scenes of D-Day so realistically that it
Frogger.
caused PTSD? Frogger.
Saving Private Ryan.
That is correct.
2 more quick questions, bro.
Perfect. After which movie did the sale of pet rats increase rapidly?
Frogger.
Frogger.
Ratatouille.
Ratatouille is correct.
I was going to say Stuart Little.
Last one. In which movie did Leonardo DiCaprio devour a raw slab of bison liver,
Patty.
even though he's a vegetarian? Patty.
The Revenant.
The Revenant is correct.
Ooh, check it. Engineer Andrew.
Hey, it happens.
With 2, it does happen. Frogger with 7, and Patty takes the day with 8.
I won?
Check out Engineer
I
Patty.
don't even know who to thank today.
All right. Well, fortunately for us, you don't have time to thank anybody. We've got to wrap up. But I do want to thank Megan Miller, the curriculum librarian at iLead Exploration, for joining me this morning, as well as Effie Goldberg and Brittany Cohen from Ascend Healthcare Adolescent Residential Treatment Center. Big T, thank you. Producer Sarah, Engineer Patty, Engineer Andrew, thank you for listening. Join us next week and every Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. I am Matt Watson, and this is SCVI and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.